Hello, my name is Matthew Cooney. This is kind of a series I think I'm going to start. Well, I know I'm going to start it because obviously I'm posting the video on YouTube, but this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. I've discussed this with some close people to me, and I feel compelled to kind of start this series. So basically, this is going to be a series where I read a chapter of the Bible every day. I have some questions, and I don't think many people are ever going to watch this, but if any of you feel generous enough to share any questions you might have that I can implement in this video, that I maybe can answer and help my own journey in following Christ and God, I think that'd be wonderful, and hopefully we can build a community. Doesn't matter how small, or if it's just one of you, it'd be wonderful to hear what you have to say. So yeah, I'm going to read starting chapter 1 of Genesis. Okay? And I'm also reading on the English Standard Version. I believe it's ESV. I am on the Bible app, so that is where I'm reading from. Okay, so Genesis, the book I'm reading from is Genesis chapter 1. The creation of the world. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind, on the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, which from the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, to fill the waters and the seas, and to let the birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the ground on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and behold it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. So the three questions I prepared, I wrote a little bit of notes. I don't know how much I'll expand beyond that, just because first video, and well, a little nervous. But my first question is, how has chapter 1 of Genesis surprised you? So this is a question to you and to me. I answered by saying the order of creation. I think the way in God made the habitat before life, vegetation before beasts, sea creatures before those on the land. This order I thought was really interesting as a former science major. I found the scientific explanation matches the Bible, and I think that's so wonderful, considering the Bible was, this part at least in Genesis, was suspected to be written 3,500 years ago. And, well, I can't exactly say they knew anything about science, so I think that's wonderful, that this is just another demonstration of the validity and the truth that God has shown us in his own, inspired word. And so I also, my next question is, are there certain phrases or verses within Genesis chapter 1 that made you take pause? I would say definitely verse 26 kind of lays out the presence of the Holy Trinity. And, you wouldn't, it's not very hard to notice it, but it is just sprinkled in there. And I think it's kind of wonderful because there is no mention of the Holy Trinity. There is no, oh, I'm the God the Father, I'm God the Son, I'm God the Holy Spirit. But there's the acknowledgement very early on. I mean, it's the first the first chapter in Genesis, and it talks about, well, here's the quote. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." And so I think it's an acknowledgement very early on that there is not just the Godhead, there is the two other parts. Now, obviously, it doesn't explicitly say, hey, again, there's the Son, my Son chilling, and the Holy Spirit's over there. But I think it's an early recognition of the three presences of God, and I find it, wow, amazing, to say the least. I think another cool tidbit was, in verse 2, it says, "The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit God was hovering over the face of the waters." And then, leading into that, is verse 3, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light." So you can kind of trace that to the Big Bang, which is, I would assume if you're, kind of sciencey, you would suspect that's what this is referencing, or you wouldn't, probably believe what this book is talking about, maybe. But and then verse 4, it goes into, "And God saw that the light was good, and that God separated the light from the darkness." And so I believe that is reference to space and how pitch black it is, and yet there were stars, there were nebulas and other gaseous formations that create light in our universe. And so, but later down here, I was looking for verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So it is interesting because in verse 1, it talks about the creation of earth. So our planet, right? Well, the next verse again, in verse 3, it talks about let there be light, and there was light. So it's interesting to note that our planet Earth was made from the same star cluster nebula as the sun was, but scientists believe that the Earth was created first. So it's just another dude, really? There's no way these people 3,500 years ago knew that from any kind of scientific discovery. It's just more evidence of a more divine or more omnipotent being giving this information to people. And so I think that's kind of wonderful. And then my third and last question was, how has chapter 1 of Genesis altered your understanding or thinking? I wrote, the way in which God has made our world and environment around us is wonderful. Vitality, variety, and dominion over all things, as God has power over all things, thus his creation made in his own image has been given the same authority on earth. That parallel, I believe, is incredibly special and often overlooked. It is stated very obviously in verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. I mean, it doesn't get more, outright that we are in the image of the Creator. And obviously, you're seeing all these wonderful things that God created things. Everything. So, of course, he has dominion over them. And he even says later on, in verse 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the fruit, or is that on the face of all the earth, and every tree with fruit and seed. You shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And so it was. So we have this innate dominion given to us by our Creator, who created us in his own image. So that parallel of ultimate omnipotent Godship, Creator and dominion over all things, then he creates us in his own image and then gives us dominion over all things on the earth. I think it's a wonderful parallel and kind of representation of the inheritance that we are given as God's children and his creation with we bear the image of God. And I think that's wonderful. So yeah, that I'd say that just about wraps it up. I will be posting tomorrow Genesis chapter 2. Very exciting. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you all.